because we're made to eat those foods. It's like a cow eating Oreos or a lion eating donuts. It just doesn't make sense. The cow's supposed to eat more grass and the lion's supposed to eat more meat. And so us as well, we're supposed to eat more of those whole foods with single ingredients. An orange has the ingredient of an orange. Leafy greens. And within those is all of these micronutrients and macronutrients that are amazing for our overall gut health. One of the most overlooked things that we can do to improve our mental health is improving our gut health and diet and nutrition. There's been an amazing study recently in 2017 out of Australia called the SMILES study, which showed that 32% of people that followed a MODI Mediterranean diet went into remission from depression. And the MODI Mediterranean diet is the Mediterranean diet which includes whole foods like salmon and fish and legumes, nuts, seeds, vegetables, fruits, and they also modified it a bit to align more with what Australians eat, and that's some more dairy and some more meat. Oftentimes in the past, traditional care has really separated mental health and physical health, but we're such a complex system, and we should often treat these two things together because our gut health can have such a massive impact on our mental health. And there's been more research about this now to show that the gut-brain axis can have a massive impact on the brain health. 90% of the information from the gut is actually sent upwards to the brain. So that shows us that the information that we're sending to our gut really has a massive impact on our overall brain health. And we can think of it like fertilizing the soil. We need to put in good fertilizer to our gut health to then have improved brain health, because we need to send the right nutrients. For example, to create serotonin and dopamine, we need more B vitamins. We can get B vitamins from things such as salmon, nuts, leafy greens, and B vitamins then help to turn into serotonin and dopamine. And serotonin and dopamine are two massively important happiness neurotransmitters for our overall happiness. And what's more interesting as well is that over 90% of our serotonin can actually be found in the gut. I really like this because it's like we have more control over our own mental health than what we've kind of been told growing up. You know, it was like, hey, just head to a psychiatrist and then to a psychologist. And although that can be absolutely helpful and game-changing for people, what about the rest of our days that we're eating foods and we could be impacting our mental health negatively by eating the wrong foods? And that's shown as well with inflammatory foods. The more Western style foods that we eat, meaning processed junk foods, sugary foods, foods that are in a package, foods that have just a whole bunch of list of ingredients like red 9, yellow 6, and orange 4. There's a saying that I really like, and it's, if you don't understand the ingredients on the back of a package, then your body isn't going to as well. And so our body can understand what's in an orange because it's from the earth, we're from the earth, and it can understand fish, it can understand leafy greens and whole foods such like this because we're made to eat those foods. It's like a cow eating Oreos or a lion eating donuts. It just doesn't make sense. The cow's supposed to eat more grass and the lion's supposed to eat more meat. And so us as well, we're supposed to eat more of those whole foods with single ingredients. An orange has the ingredient of an orange. Leafy greens. And within those is all of these micronutrients and macronutrients that are amazing for our overall gut health and help to create better gut bacteria that in turn can help to create better happiness and an overall more fertilized soil for our plants to grow. And we could see the gut health, as I was saying, like the soil, and the plants that grow, like our overall happiness and our overall vibrancy. If we're feeding that gut health and we're feeding the fertilizer with just junk foods, then it can't really do anything with those foods, and it can have a negative effect and go into a more inflammatory state. And that's the immune system trying to work to repair itself. Mental illnesses such as depression and schizophrenia have been linked to low-grade inflammation in the body. So it's a serious deal that we need to get on top of. and we have more control that we think. So we can make these modifiable changes to help to improve our overall mental health. It's exciting. It's great. We've got more power than we think. And it also makes sense as well if you have you ever heard the saying gut feeling? I'm sure a lot of us have, or butterflies in the stomach, or when you have anxiety and you can really feel it in the stomach. That's just one indication of the massive connection between our brain and our gut. So in saying all of this, what can we do? What's the diet? And I mentioned it before, that in the trial was the ModiMed diet, and I really like the Mediterranean diet because it's got a lot of research done around it to improve overall health, and more recently to improve mental health. 2 of the healthiest countries are in the Mediterranean, Spain and Italy. Also, 2 of the blue zones in the world are in the Mediterranean, in Sardinia and in Icaria in Greece, Sardinia, Italy. And blue zones are these fascinating areas of the world where people live for the longest amount of time. All of these different reasons for me just go to show that the Mediterranean diet is a better diet for us to be eating for overall health, overall mental health, overall physical health. And it's more of a whole food diet. Whole foods, what does that mean? It just means, as I was saying, foods from the planet, foods from nature, and a lot less of these Western foods, processed junk foods. I love this other way I got told about eating more whole foods as well. It's usually, if you go around the outside of a supermarket, you'll find more of the whole foods, and more in the center is more of the processed food. That's on the outside, you've got more of your vegetables, you've got more of your fruit, meats, seafood, dairy, and things like that. So eating more of these foods have a better impact on our overall health. So how do we implement this? If you're feeling anxious or depressed and already find it difficult to be eating and can't really be bothered making food, then start with small goals, small wins to get yourself going. Simple goals that we can achieve. So it could be something like, if you're not eating much fruit at the moment, just starting and saying, hey, for this whole month, I'm going to try to eat 2 pieces of fruit a day. And choose what you like. Choose the fruit that you really love. And just prioritize, put that in as a goal in your calendar, put that as a goal up on your mirror, and then that's the clear focus that you want to hit. And then for the next month, it could be, I want to eat 2 more portions of vegetables per day. And then have that on the mirror, 2 vegetables per day till the end of the month. And this is a good step-by-step way that can help to implement that healthy eating. Because if we make the goals super high, then we don't achieve them, and it feels like a letdown. It feels like we're not heading towards where we want to be. But if we can make them a bit smaller and make sure that we're hitting these goals, then that's a good way to keep that momentum going. And we're in this health game for the long run, you know. This is mental wellness tools. Inner peace is so important in daily life, having more happiness and more peace within, less anxiety, less depression. And this is one way we can head towards there in the long term, by making these small incremental changes, 1% changes. One of the concepts that we can take on board as well is this idea of Kaizen, which is a principle that came out of Toyota, the car company. And they made small incremental improvements over time, which have a massive benefit in the long run. And it's this idea of continuous improvement. And Toyota have such a great name in the world for having cars that last for a long time and don't often cost a lot to repair because they're so well built. And I can attest to that, having had a couple of Toyota cars in my life. And so the small improvements that we can make month by month, keeping in it for the long game, keeping mentally well, is a beneficial mindset to adopt to improve that mental wellness. And so we're just going to take a look here now at the specific foods that we can be eating to improve our overall mental health. This is the Mediterranean diet. And so these are the different sections of food that we should be eating. So have a think now of what grocery store you could go to maybe buy these foods. What foods in this graph that you like to eat that you could be eating more of? What maybe are foods that you aren't eating so much of now that you could increase the proportions of to have an overall better impact on your mental wellness. So thanks for watching this video. If you could leave a like down below if you liked the video, and subscribe and share it to other people if you know that this can be of benefit to them to improve their overall mental wellness. We out here trying to affect 1 billion people's lives, improving the mental health of the world one step at a time.